There's a man sitting in a dealership finance office right now, somewhere in America, signing his name to an 84-month loan on a $70,000 pickup truck. 7 years of payments. The pen scratches, the printer hums, and the finance manager slides over a warranty brochure with a smile. And here's the thing that man doesn't know. The engine in that truck might not outlive the loan. Now, the title of this video asks if this is the end of car ownership. Let me be straight with you right up front, because I'm not going to play that game. Nobody is coming to take your truck. Ownership isn't ending. You can still walk into a dealer tomorrow, buy a pickup, and drive it home. But something quieter is happening, and it's worth more of your attention than any doomsday headline. The average full-size truck in America now sells for around $66,000. Nearly 1 in 4 new vehicle loans is stretched out to 84 months or longer, and truck buyers take those long loans at almost double the rate of everyone else. 3 out of 10 people trading in a vehicle right now owe more than it's worth, on average about $7,200 more. And while all that money is changing hands, one manufacturer just recalled roughly 600,000 trucks and SUVs because the engines were chewing up their own bearings, and another has replaced more than 70,000 brand new engines and still can't fully explain why they keep failing. I've pulled apart engines that outlived 3 owners, trucks with 300,000 miles that still had crosshatch on the cylinder walls. What's rolling through shops right now is a different animal, and today I'm going to walk you through 12 trucks that the people who fix them for a living would tell you to think very hard about before you buy in 2026. Real failures, real recall numbers, real repair bills, and stay for the last 3 especially, because that's where you'll see what a truck is quietly turning into. That part should bother you more than any blown engine. Let me show you what's really going on before we start counting. For most of the last century, the pickup truck was the simplest, most overbuilt machine the average person could own. Cast iron block, simple fuel system, a transmission with 3 or 4 gears, and body panels a farm kid could hammer straight. When those trucks failed, they failed from where? Slowly, at 250,000 miles, with plenty of warning. What's changed is not that trucks got worse at being trucks, it's that the failure moved. Today's trucks fail from complexity, from manufacturing defects baked in at the factory, from software, from sealed components no independent shop is allowed to touch. The failure used to arrive at the end of a truck's life. Now it can arrive at 40,000 miles while you still owe 5 more years of payments. Keep that one comparison in your head the whole way through. The loan got longer while the trouble arrived earlier. That gap between them is where all the pain lives. Number 1, the Nissan Titan and Titan XD. I'll start gentle because this one isn't a horror story about the machine. The 5.6-liter Endurance 5.8 in the Titan is actually a decent, honest engine. 400 horsepower, no turbos, no tricks. The problem is that Nissan quit. Production ended in the middle of 2024 after 20 years of never cracking the full-size market, and an orphan truck is a slowly sinking truck. Kelley Blue Book data showed a 2023 Titan losing roughly 42% of its value in 3 years, putting it near the bottom of the pickup class. Consumer Reports scored the Titan XD among the worst vehicles it tracked for reliability, and the truck never matched its rivals on capability either, with towing topping out around 9,700 pounds, while half tons from the big 3 were pulling considerably more. And once a truck is discontinued, the parts pipeline thins, dealer techs stop seeing them, aftermarket support dries up, and buyer confidence drains away. Now, if you find a leftover or a clean used one, one at a deep discount and you plan to run it into the ground rather than trade it, that V8 will probably serve you fine. But go in knowing you're buying a truck whose maker has already left the room. A truck is a 20-year relationship. It's hard to have one with a company that's already moved out. Number 2, the GMC Canyon and its twin, the Chevy Colorado, tags along here. The engine is fine. Read that again because it tells you everything about modern failure. The 2.7-liter turbo 4 in these trucks has proven itself durable. What's dragging the Canyon to the bottom of Consumer Reports reliability data drawn from surveys of roughly 380,000 vehicle owners is everything wrapped around the engine, infotainment screens that freeze or reboot on the highway, electrical gremlins, owner reported braking and transmission behavior that a software patch in the middle of 2025 didn't fully cure. Here's why that matters more than it sounds. In these trucks, the screen isn't decoration, it's the control panel for climate, cameras, trailering, and half the truck's functions, all riding on the same electrical architecture. When that architecture hiccups, you're not down one gadget, you're down the truck's nervous system. The old mechanics used to diagnose a truck with a screwdriver pressed against their ear, listening for a bad lifter through the handle. You can't press a screwdriver against a software bug. There's no part to replace, no adjustment to make, nothing for your local shop to bill an honest hour on. When the problem lives in code, you don't fix the truck. You wait for the manufacturer to feel like fixing it. And early Canyon owners waited through loose trim, rattles, and rebooting screens while the patches trickled out. Number 3, the Ford F-150 PowerBoost hybrid. On paper, it's clever. A 3.5-liter twin. Turbo V6 with an electric motor sandwiched into the 10-speed transmission and a battery under the bed floor. Around town, it'll show you fuel economy a half ton has no business showing you. But listen to what Ford did starting with the 2024 models. They removed the starters, both of them, and made the hybrid motor inside the transmission responsible for starting the engine. That means the transmission is now part of the starting system. Industry experts have flagged the battery system, the very thing you're paying extra for, as the trouble spot. With a history of glitches and failures, and more than 56,000 of the 2025 hybrids were recalled for an electrical fault, as basic as the seatbelt chime not sounding when the 12-volt battery ran low. Now, I'll be straight with you, the PowerBoost has genuine appeal. The onboard generator can run a job site or keep your fridge cold through a blackout, and 23 miles per gallon combined from a full-size 4x4 is real money saved at the pump. If those features are why you're buying, fine, just understand the trade. You're carrying a twin turbo V6, a turbocharger pair, an electric motor, a high voltage battery, and a transmission doing double duty as a starter, all in one drivetrain. And every one of those systems has to work for the truck to move. Every system you add is a system that can strand you. On a work truck, that math matters. Number 4, the regular Ford F-150. And I want to be fair here because millions of these are out there doing honest work every day. But you should know what the recall sheet looks like. Ford issued nearly 140 recalls in 2025 alone, the most of any automaker, about 35% of every recall in America, smashing the old industry record. More than 500,000 F-150s were recalled because the 10-speed transmission could suddenly slam itself down into first gear without warning. Picture that at 70 miles an hour. Then there's the rear axle bolt that shears off, which Ford recalled once for the 2021 through 2023 trucks, and then had to recall again for the 2023 through 2025 trucks because the first fix didn't end it. And this isn't new behavior. The 2017 through 2020 trucks had the cam phaser rattle on the EcoBoost engines. That cold start clatter like marbles in a coffee can, and owners out of warranty have paid $1,000 to $3,000 chasing transmission complaints alone. Here's the honest caveat. Ford sells more of these than anyone sells anything, so raw complaint counts will always look scary next to a truck that sells a tenth as many. But the recall rate doesn't care about volume. The truck itself is capable, and a used one with the transmission, software updated, and the axle bolt recall done can be a fine buy. The company building it, though, is fixing problems at a pace that should make any buyer slow down and check a VIN before signing anything. Number 5, the Ford Super Duty with the 6.7-liter Power Stroke diesel, specifically the years running on the Bosch CP4 high-pressure fuel pump. This is one the diesel guys have known about for over a decade. That pump was designed around European diesel, which is oilier, slicker stuff than what comes out of an American pump. Our ultra-low sulfur fuel doesn't lubricate it properly, and air pockets form inside the pump while it runs. So you get metal wearing on metal from day one, cam and rollers grinding themselves into dust in the very fuel that's supposed to protect them. When it lets go, it doesn't die quietly. It grenades, and it sends a glitter bomb of metal shavings through the injectors, the rails, the lines, the whole fuel system. The repair isn't a pump. It's a complete fuel system replacement, and the lawsuits filed over this describe bills from $8,000 to $20,000. Worse, owners report warranty claims denied for fuel contamination when the contamination came from the pump itself. Ford finally recalled almost 300,000 of the 2020 through 2022 trucks over high-pressure pump failures. Meanwhile, the aftermarket sells a disaster prevention bypass kit for about $100. Think about that. A $100 part invented by people in their garages to protect against a failure worth $15,000. And the frustrating truth is the 6.7 Power Stroke itself is a strong engine. Plenty of them clear 300,000 miles, some 400,000 with religious maintenance. The heart is good. It's the one pump feeding it that carries the grenade pin, which is why the guys who know these trucks either install that bypass kit on day one or buy diligently around the affected years. Number 6, the Chevy Silverado 1500 with the 6.2-liter V8, the engine GM calls the L87. This might be the biggest engine story in trucks right now. In April of 2025, GM recalled roughly 600,000 trucks and SUVs from 2021 through 2024 because of manufacturing defects in the crankshafts, connecting rods and bearings, debris and quality problems from the factory, meaning the failure was installed at birth. Let me tell you what a bearing actually does, because they call it a rod bearing and the jargon hides how simple it is. It's a soft metal sleeve, thinner than a fingernail, that lets the crankshaft spin against the connecting rods on a film of oil. When debris scores that surface, or the parts were machined wrong to begin with, the oil film breaks down. Metal touches metal, and the strongest engine in the world beats itself to death from the inside. Sometimes it seizes. Sometimes the rod punches through the side of the block like a fist through drywall. GM's own filings counted over 28,000 field complaints potentially tied to it, more than 14,000 of them alleging the truck simply lost power, sometimes on the highway, and an out-of-warranty replacement runs well into 5 figures once you add towing and shop time. And here's the detail that tells you everything about how these things get handled. For engines that passed the dealer inspection, part of the remedy was switching them to a thicker grade of oil, a new oil cap, and an updated owner's manual, a viscosity change as a fix for a machining problem. The old engineers would have had words about that. Number 7, the GMC Sierra 1500, and no, this isn't padding the list. The Sierra is the Silverado in a different shirt, same frame, same 6.2-liter V8, same defect. But the Sierra earns its own spot because of what happened after the recall. The Federal Safety Administration opened a deeper engineering analysis after receiving more than 1,100 additional reports of bearing failures, including well over 100 in trucks built outside the recall window, reaching back into the 2019 and 2020 model years. Trucks GM said were fine. Complaints are even surfacing on 2025 and 2026 models that were supposedly built after the fix. One owner reported a brand new engine dead at 5,200 miles. When the recall boundary keeps leaking, the honest read is that nobody is completely sure where this problem ends yet. That uncertainty is exactly what you don't want under the hood of a $70,000 truck. Number 8, the Toyota Tundra, 2022 through 2024. With the twin-turbo V6. This one hurts because the old Tundra with the 5.7-liter V8 was arguably the most reliable full-size truck ever sold, the kind of thing you handed down to your kids. Then Toyota replaced that V8 with a smaller twin-turbo 6, making 389 horsepower and more torque than the old motor ever dreamed of. Better numbers on every spec sheet, and the trouble started almost immediately. Machining debris left inside the engines at the factory sticks to the number 1 main bearing, and under load, the bearing wears, knocks, and eventually fails, sometimes taking the whole engine with it. Toyota's first recall in 2024 covered about 102,000 trucks and SUVs, and the fix was a complete engine replacement. Then they expanded it. Then they expanded it again. And by the middle of 2026, the count sits around 270,000 engines across 3 recalls, with more than 70,000 engines already swapped. Toyota even admitted that the cleaning improvements at the factory still left enough debris to damage bearings. The new remedy is a resonant frequency test to decide which engines get replaced instead of an automatic swap, which has some owners understandably nervous. 2 practical notes, if you're shopping one anyway. The hybrid versions were excluded from these recalls, and a truck that already received a replacement engine built with the redesigned bearing is arguably safer than one still waiting its turn. So ask for the paperwork. The lesson isn't that Toyota forgot how to build engines. It's that even the most careful company on earth traded a proven, understressed V8 for turbocharged complexity, and complexity collects its fee from everyone. Number 9, the Ram 1500, and I'm sorry to say it currently wears the crown. Consumer Reports data for 2026 ranks it the worst pickup for reliability, and the details read like a shop's bad week. The new Hurricane Twin Turbo Inline 6, which replaced the Hemi V8 starting in 2025, has reports of overheated catalytic converters and coolant finding its way into the intake, which is a short road to a dead engine. The electrical side has recalls for trailer brake modules with fire risk and digital dashboards that go completely blank while you're driving. One recall alone covering more than 43,000 trucks for a cluster that could black out at startup or on the road. Even the old Hemi option carries its famous tick, worn lifters, and snapped exhaust manifold bolts. And the e-torque mild hybrid system bolted to, it adds motor generator failures to the menu. And here's the tell. For 2026, Ram brought the Hemi Vive 8 back after customer outrage and started advertising a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Companies don't hang a warranty that long on a truck they're confident in. They hang it there to calm you down. Number 10, the Ford F-150 Lightning, the electric one. Ford built a genuinely capable truck here, and then the market did what markets do. Ford ended Lightning production in December of 2025, and the truck never turned a profit. Owners who paid $70,000 for early models have watched them trade in the low 40,000s, a loss of roughly 48% in 2 to 3 years, about double what a gas F-150 gives up. Every time Ford cut prices on new ones, every used Lightning lost equity overnight. And now it's an orphan platform from a company publicly pivoting to hybrids and range extended designs, with the Lightning name expected to return on a completely different kind of truck. To be fair, among electric pickups, the Lightning actually holds its value better than most. But that's like being the driest man in the swimming pool. If you buy one used and cheap with eyes open, knowing the battery warranty terms and living with home charging, there's a genuine case to be made because the truck does what it was built to do. But buying one at anything near full price is volunteering to absorb someone else's depreciation experiment on a model the maker has already walked away from. Number 11, the Rivian R1T. Clever truck, quick, well built in many ways, and one of the most expensive vehicles in America to repair after a fender bender. This is documented over and over. An Ohio owner got rear-ended at low speed. The other driver's insurance estimated $1,600, and the certified shop's real bill came to $42,000. Another owner's basketball-sized dent below the tail light priced out at $14,000. Another was quoted $16,000 at the only certified shop within 300 miles, and the final bill grew to $22,000. The reason is the design. Rivian used a one-piece body side, one huge aluminum panel running from the bed up over the doors, so a dent in the fender can mean cutting and welding a structural section. Rivian's own boss has admitted these bills should never happen. Insurance companies respond the only way they know how, by totaling lightly damaged trucks and raising everyone's premiums. And this is a taste of an industry-wide shift. Insurance data has shown electric vehicles averaging around $6,800 per collision repair, roughly $2,400 more than the average car. Because the shops are scarce, the procedures are mandated by the manufacturer, and the panels are huge. Consumer Reports puts the R1T near the bottom for reliability too. A truck you're afraid to park at the feed store isn't really a truck. Number 12, the Tesla Cybertruck. And this is where the whole story comes together. In roughly its first 15 months on sale, the Cybertruck racked up 8 separate recalls, accelerator pedal covers that could slip and jam the pedal down, windshield wipers, trunk trim peeling off. And then the big one, the stainless steel roof trim piece called the count rail, glued on with an adhesive that regulators said could turn brittle and let the panel fly off into traffic. That recall covered over 46,000 trucks, which was essentially every single one built from November 2023 to February 2025. Step back and look at the bigger picture for a second. In 2024, Tesla accounted for roughly 21% of all vehicles recalled in America, while holding only around 4% of sales. Many of those recalls were fixed by software pushed over the air, which sounds convenient until you think about what it means. Panels are glued to a $100,000 vehicle. One owner was quoted $3,000 to replace a dented door skin, then fixed it himself with a $25 suction cup. And because so much of the truck is software, many fixes arrive over the air from the company on the company's schedule on a machine you supposedly own. Which brings us right back to where we started, because this is the part that actually matters. Look at the pattern across those 12 trucks. Engines that fail from factory defects while the warranty clock and the loan clock run at different speeds. Body designs that turn a parking lot mistake into a 5-figure claim. Software that only the manufacturer can touch. And underneath all of it, the money. There is no money in a simple truck that runs 300,000 miles on oil changes and a set of plugs. There is a great deal of money in an 84-month loan at today's interest rates, in a service department replacing sealed modules at $400 an hour, in an out-of-warranty engine job, and in a trade-in cycle where the customer rolls $7,000 of negative equity into the next truck and starts the wheel spinning again. Nobody sat in a boardroom and cackled about it. It's quieter than that. The finance arm learned it earns more than the factory floor. The engineers got handed cost targets and warranty period targets, not lifetime targets. The dealer learned the service bay pays the bills. Each decision made sense to somebody, and the sum of them is a $66,000 machine that can eat itself before it's paid off, sold to a buyer whose only defense is the monthly payment fitting his budget. Nobody ended car ownership. They just rearranged it until the bank owns the truck, the manufacturer owns the software, and you own the risk. And I think that's worth sitting with for a minute, because owning a machine used to mean something specific. It meant that when it broke, you could open it, understand it, and fix it, or pay a man in your town a fair price to do it. That understanding was a kind of independence, and it got passed down father to kid, mechanic to apprentice. Every sealed module, every glued panel, every subscription screen chips away at that. Not because anyone hates you, but because your independence doesn't show up on anyone's balance sheet. A truck built to be understood makes its owner stronger and its maker nothing. A truck built to be serviced only at the dealer makes its maker money forever. The machines didn't change on their own. The incentives changed and the machines followed. Knowing that won't make your payments smaller, but it changes how you shop, and that's where your power actually is. So here's what I want you to do with all this. First, before you buy any used truck from this list, or any truck at all, run the VIN through the Federal Recall Database and confirm every open recall has actually been completed in writing. Second, buy the powertrain, not the badge. The same truck can be a keeper or a grenade, depending on the engine code. So find out exactly which engine and transmission you're looking at and what its record is. Third, pay a good independent shop a couple $100 for a pre-purchase inspection and tell them specifically to listen for bearing noise and lifter tick and to scan for stored codes. That's the cheapest insurance in the entire car business. Fourth, be honest about the loan. If the only way the truck fits is 84 months, the truck doesn't fit because you'll spend years underwater on a machine that may need major work before you reach positive equity. And fifth, when in doubt, buy the boring, proven, slightly older powertrain over the brand new, clever one and let somebody else volunteer to be the test fleet. Do those 5 things, and here's the moment you're buying for. 3 years from now, some morning when it's 12 degrees out, you'll turn the key, it'll settle into a steady idle, and you'll pull out of the driveway without a single warning light while your neighbor waits on a loaner because his engine is on national back order. That feeling costs nothing but attention paid up front. Now, I want to hear from you because the comment section on videos like this is worth more than any press release. Tell me what truck you're running, how many miles are on it, and the one repair that either broke your heart or made you a believer. If you wrench for a living, tell me which of these 12 shows up in your bays the most, because your bay is closer to the truth than any survey. I read every single comment, and honestly, those stories from you all are the reason I keep making these. If this saved you from an expensive mistake, subscribe, because next time we're finally digging into the one I've been promising for a while now, the myth of lifetime transmission fluid, what filled for life actually means in the fine print, and the quiet reason a $100 fluid service became a $4,000 transmission. The answer is going to annoy you in the best possible way. Until then, keep your oil change, keep your paperwork, and don't let a payment plan make your decisions for you. See you in the next one.